Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2019 mid-month general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers and first-timers, and welcome back to any followers and subscribers. Thank you so much for all those of you who take the time to tune in and for sending in all your support, feedback, and comments. And always a big note of gratitude to all of my clients out there, both regular and new, for keeping me so busy, always so busy with personal readings. It's a joyful busyness, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much. And as many of you know, if you are interested in scheduling a personal reading with me, live or recorded, you can click on the information bar below, or go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the About button there. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, and I can usually respond to your initial inquiry within the first 24 hours. And scheduling the actual reading is pretty timely too. I do readings full-time, 6 days a week. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with your schedule in mind to get you readings as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me an email. I'd be delighted to work with you. My email is maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. All right, let's move into this. This reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the remainder of May 2019. General readings always resonate a little differently for everybody, as a lot of you know. So if you know your rising sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign, watch those as well for additional clarification. Okay, our Scorpions. Our lovely, intense Scorpios. Let's see what the remainder of May 2019 has in store for you. Okay, Scorpio, we begin with the Ten of Wands. Cards are flipping out all over the place, clarified by the Ace of Wands. Next we have, no, this came out first, the Knight of Cups, followed by Judgment. From the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the remainder of May 2019 is the Nine of Swords. Never a card I like to see, as I always say, because the Nine of Swords represents a high degree of anxiety, stress, fear. It's usually about fear of the future, fear of the unknown, and always fearing the worst possible outcome, thinking about it too much, obsessive thinking, staying up late at night, insomnia, nightmares, etc. The positive aspect to the Nine of Swords, because there is one, is that this is actually about your mind chewing on itself to such an extent that you actually have it built up to be bigger and worse in your head than is actually reflected in the reality of the situation. This is making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, it's not to say that the source of your fears and anxieties aren't valid. They are valid. They may be quite valid. But the Nine of Swords represents obsessive thinking, focusing only on the negative, the worst possible outcome. Your mind being your own worst enemy, because swords in the tarot is governed by air, which is about what goes on up in our heads, thoughts, belief systems, ideologies, truth, insight, everything, all the energy that goes on between our ears. So this is a card about thinking about something obsessively and worrying about it, typically fearing the worst possible outcome, when in fact it is not that bad. So we can lessen this. I mean, that's why we do these readings. Forewarned is forearmed. We can even negate this, or at least the majority of this. It's an interesting reading because it looks like you're feeling stressed and anxious and in fear and worried and burdened by a new beginning. It looks like somebody, you're feeling overwhelmed. That's what this Ten of Wands represents. Overwhelmed, tired, exhausted. I think this is, whatever this is a situation or relationship or job or something that's been going on for quite some time. Now, you're shouldering this burden successfully, but it's heavy. Can't even stand up straight. You can see his head up and he's looking at this place just out of our sight, his destination, that place where he is going to lay these wands down, be free of this burden, stand up and take a deep breath, or a place that he's like, I'm just going to dump this because I can't take it anymore. It's too heavy. I'm too tired. I'm overwhelmed. The clarifying card is the Ace of Wands, which typically looks like an exciting, passionate, fast-moving new beginning, because Aces represents the seeds, the beginning of something new, the number one. Again, Wands, which is the element is fire, exciting, passionate, enthusiastic energy, creative, artistic energy, very exciting. But you're feeling overwhelmed by this new beginning or what it represents or the possibility of it, and very stressed out too. It looks like you have somebody coming in to make an offer with this Knight of Cups, an emotional offer. It could be an offer of love, could be an apology, it could be an offer of supportive or loving encouragement and support. It's clarified by Judgment, which is usually the second chance card, or a card that comes up when a decision has to be made. It's a pretty significant energy, not just because it's Major Arcana card, but it's pretty serious. You can see one of the archangels here blowing the horn. It's a call to action, but a careful call to action too. Will you answer? Number one, a decision needs to be made. There needs to be an answer. But there's an air of finality to Judgment too. It represents that whatever you choose, whatever decision you make, whatever you set into motion is going to have lasting effects and consequences. So choose carefully, for positive or negative. So choose carefully. This is not a card of being spontaneous or impulsive, which the Knight of Cups sometimes is. I mean, knights are known for being spontaneous and impulsive because they're knights. Charge! They usually have a mission, a quest, are very fanatical and single-minded about it, have a strong code of ethics. Cups is water energy. It's emotional energy. The Knight of Cups is a very romantic, I'll lasso the moon and bring it down to you. And his challenge is that in the moment, he's caught up in the emotion. He's quite sincere in what he's offering and saying. Quite sincere. He believes everything he's saying because he's caught up in that feeling. But the challenge for the Knight, because he hasn't quite matured to a king or queen yet, the challenge with the Knight is after the emotions die down, sometimes he cannot follow through with what it actually takes in a practical day after day sort of way. That's his challenge. So it looks like, another mid-month sign had a remarkably similar reading to this, and I believe it was one of your sister signs, Cancer, I believe. So it could be something with the water sign people this month, or for the remainder of May anyway, because it was a very similar reading, a second chance. It looks like somebody's coming back with an offer, maybe wanting a second chance, an apology even, to try and rectify or reconcile something and make another offer. But for some reason, you're just feeling very stressed out about it. I feel like this is an ongoing situation and you're tired. I mean, here's you with the Ten of Wands, this burden right next to this Knight of Cups who's charging towards you, and you're like, I don't know, I'm so tired, we've done this over and over and over again, and maybe that's the challenge, and maybe that's why you're holding back on whether or not to accept this offer or not, or have this reconciliation or moving forward, because you're afraid it's going to be the same thing down the road, and that if you make this decision, and Judgment says, the decision you make is going to set the stage for quite some time, not just in the message you give to anybody else who is involved or aware, but the message you give to yourself too. It's going to set the stage for something. Your own personal ethics, how you view your own value. So there's a lot of this stress about it. Do I really want to do this? Let's clarify this Nine of Swords, this stress, anxiety, fear card. I mean, it's obvious it's about an offer for a new beginning or a new future or moving forward in a very action-oriented way. So let's see if we can get one more clarifying card about that. The Fool, new beginning, the potential and promise of a new beginning. It's a very exciting card. Actually, the Fool is my favorite Major Arcana card. It's about taking a risk, a leap of faith, stepping off the beaten path to explore, to see what's there. Normally my favorite Major Arcana card. However, Scorpio, I am feeling a bit of cautionary energy. Some of you can choose to move forward in this and it may be just fine. But there's a reason why there's caution. There's a reason why there's this sense of burden and overwhelming. Perhaps it's been an unbalanced relationship or situation. Perhaps you've been giving so much and you're not getting back an equitable amount. I mean, the Knight of Cups is great at huge displays of love and offers and chocolate and candy and dancing by moonlight. But in the light of day when everybody's got to get dressed and get up and eat their Wheaties and go to work, he sometimes doesn't have the ability to follow through because he's kind of all about that emotional moment, that emotional high. And it may be that you've just gone through this over and over again and you're just tired, even though he's coming back and he's sincere and he believes it. But can he or she follow through with this, whatever's being offered? The potential and promise, too. I love the Fool, but he is the Fool. He doesn't think about what he needs to pack for the journey because he doesn't think about it. Let's jump in the pool. Well, how much water actually is there in the bottom of the pool? He doesn't tend to think about things like that. And that's what has you stressed out too. I want to make the right decision this time. I don't want to act like a fool. It's great to take a chance. I advocate it a lot of the time, but if you've done the same thing over and over again and gotten negative results, it may be time to rethink things. So, because this looks a little more challenging, and this is so amazingly similar to, I think it was Cancer's, let's pull one final advice card. How best to navigate through this situation, at least for the remainder of May. The Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands is more of a waiting card. It's still within the suit of Wands, which is fire energy, which is normally very action oriented and fast and exciting and moving forward. But about all the cards in the suit of Wands, the Three of Wands I find is the most gestative and patient. The two wands, which are stuck in the ground behind him, the one he's holding on to, represent preparations that he has made, footwork that he's already done, work that he's already put in into sending the ship back. The ship is sailing back in. There's generally a sense of positive anticipation with this card. Having done some of the footwork, we're only at the 3 here, and waiting to see what the results are, waiting to see what the ship brings in. Hoping, being very, optimistic and hopeful and patiently waiting to see what comes in after doing, some of the initial footwork. So this is showing up as advice. This would be a strong implication that for many of you, not all of you, but for many of you, you may want to proceed forward a step at a time. Take a step, maybe see what happens. Take another step, see what happens. This is a 3. You've done some of the work, but you haven't just jumped in full gung-ho. You haven't just decided to leap off a cliff or get on a plane and fly halfway across the world. It's a card about doing some work, feeling cautiously optimistic and waiting to see what the results are. If this is somebody coming back to offer a second chance, another round, okay, maybe some of you will make the decision to, okay, let's take it a step at a time and see if this Knight of Cups really can follow through tomorrow and next week and next month in what is being offered or promised, or vice versa. Interesting reading. So Scorpio, that pretty much wraps up your May 2019 mid-month general reading. I hope you found it helpful and useful. It might be interesting to also hop over and watch that Cancer reading because these two are very similar. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, particularly if this resonated with you, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I do love and romance, compatibility charting, career, work, and finance, investment readings. I offer gift readings for friends, family, and loved ones. Personal readings always make a great gift because they're personal. And I also offer 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. I don't like looking too much further than a year because there's too many variables involved, especially if there's a lot of other people involved as well. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy, which is particularly good for quick answers to the easy, simple questions. More complex issues, and particularly relationships, often require more traditional reading. But there's a variety of things to choose from for those of you who are interested. I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the June 2019 general readings. Until then, as always, Scorpio, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy, healthy life, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.